Good morning, Matt here. Another episode of What's Up With My Z. So I'm going to try not to say so and like and I think I already said so. Damn it. Damn it. Anyway, the driver's side tail light has not been working. Along with the brake light, I should say. The driver's side brake light has not been working, and neither has the driver's side blinker. So I think it's the relay, but I'm not sure. So let's run through some tests and see what we can figure out. I have the ignition on in the accessory. It's in the on mode, so I'm going to turn on the right blinker. Working just fine, you can see there. Let's go look at the front markers. Working. Back marker. Working. Okay. We're gonna go, and now we're gonna do the driver's side. Did you hear how it slowed down there? So you can see the blinker there. It's not as brisk and it sounds like dead. Front marker. Working. Back marker. No worky. So also the brake light doesn't work. Let's shut that off. But if I turn on the emergency hazards, see, those are working. So go check the back. Driver side working, passenger side working. So my theory is that something's up with the flasher. So I'm going to take a look at that and see. I'm going to show you how to take this switch apart. This is for the turn signal. It's a mechanical switch, so it's pretty easy to work on. They probably don't sell these new anymore, I'm sure, since it's a 40-year-old part. But really all you have to do, there's two screws. There's a screw here and a screw here. I already took this screw out. So I'm just going to take out this screw. They come out pretty easily. Don't lose them, obviously. Put that down. And then the switch just kind of comes off. Now we need to take the actual switch apart. And you can see right here there are little tabs. There's a tab here, there's a tab here, and there's a tab over here. Tab right there. So if you bend this tab back and this tab, usually I just use a little precision screwdriver, bend them, and the whole thing comes out. Now, when you get in here, be aware there is a little steel ball bearing and a spring on the inside of this. So you want to be very careful when you take this apart to make sure you don't lose that spring or ball bearing, because if you lose those, you're done. You're cooked. Good luck finding a spring and a ball bearing the right size. So I will pull that apart and I'll show you once I get it apart. I would do it now, but I don't have I can't hold on to it and do it at the same time. So back in a bit. I pried it apart, and there we have it. There's the ball bearing, and there's the spring. So I'm going to gently set those down as to not lose them, because that would be bad. And then we'll have the inside, or we'll take that apart and clean them up. I took the switch apart, and as you can see, I think there's some burning on the contacts Now this is the switch at the steering column, not the relay. I started looking at the relay and I'm like, oh, those things almost never go bad. This is the other side of the switch. So I thought it's much easier to get to the switch in the steering, the turn signal lever in the steering column than it is to get to the relay. So I'm trying to rule out the problem there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little steel wool and sand that contact there. You can see the black one right here. It's got the little burn mark on it. I'm going to sand that, make sure that's making good contact, rebend it, make sure it makes a good contact, there's no burn marks on it. Also on the inside of the switch, you can see this is the mechanism, and there's the switch as it came out. You have to kind of pry it apart, but it's not, it's not that hard to do. You can see the burned contact. Let me get some better light. There's the burned contact right there. The other side has a little bit, but it's not as bad. So I'm gonna sand all these little contacts, make sure they're nice and smooth and clean, and no way that they could not be making contact. And then I'll put it all back together and see if that fixes the problem. Stay tuned. I have an update. I took it apart, I cleaned it, and I put it back together. And remember me warning you not to drop the ball bearing out of there, because you'll never find one. Well, guess what I did? I lost the ball bearing. Yeah, because I'm awesome that way. I was standing right here, and I was putting it back together, and it fell apart, and the ball bearing went boing, 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 pew, boing, 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 and then it rolled into the black abyss. And there's no friggin' way. There's a crack under there. I'm getting that out of there. So I started thinking to myself, well, shit, what do I do now? Because I just told everybody on camera, don't do that or you're screwed. So I started going through my garage and I started thinking about all the crap that I had laying around that I could pull apart to find a small ball bearing, and boom, Zerk fitting. What's that in the end right there? That's a ball bearing. That looks about the right size. So I cut this sucker off, pulled out the ball bearing, fit perfect. Awesome. Back in business. So if you lose your spring and ball bearing, I didn't lose the spring, but if you lose your spring and ball bearing, get a Zerk fitting. Because the spring and ball bearing in there is exactly the same as the spring and ball bearing in here. The spring might be a little longer, but you could cut that down. So it's back together. I'm going to put it in the car, test it, and see how we're doing. Stay tuned. I have the turn signal back in the car. It's all plugged up and ready to go. It went back together real easy. 2 screws. So one here and one on top. One there. Just unscrew those and both these pop apart. There's a couple of plug-ins. It's real easy. You can't screw it up because they only plug into one thing. So let's give this a shot and see if it's working. I'm going to turn my ignition to on. There we go. And turn signal. Left turn. Blinking. And listen to how crisp the blinker relay is now. Before it sounded kind of dead on the left turn. So let's go take a look. Booyah! Left turn, blinking. Let's go take a look at the front marker. Just to make sure. Front marker blinking. Sweetness. Let's check the right here. Right side blinking. Check the front marker first. Yes, alright. Let's check the back marker. Yes. Yes, alright, sweetness. And turn it off. We'll check our hazard switch. And both are blinking. Alright. So, that concludes this project. We were able to fix that. And trying to put a radio in because mine died. So, trying to put another one in. And so that'll be it for this episode of What the Hell is Wrong with My Z. Stay tuned for another episode of What the Hell is Wrong with My Z, because there's still more stuff to fix. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas.